Hello, survivors, and welcome back to another episode of Will You Survive?
The podcast.
Today.
Wow. Wait, that was a good voice. Did you hear that?
That was a good one.
That was good.
Today, we are going to be talking zombies, and we are going back old school. It's really not old, but you'll understand if you've seen it. I've got my two co-hosts who are going to help me break down this movie, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. That is TJ over there.
Welcome to Will You Survive remix. No, it's not.
And this is Eric.
Welcome to Will You Survive. No, I'm just kidding. You got that. I almost got him a second time.
Welcome to Raccoon City. Rack City, bitch.
And
Rack City, bitch.
That is what we are talking. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, which is probably the best movie ever made in the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh, I'm going to lose this episode.
It's literally like my top movie, actually. Like Interstellar, fuck out of here. Raccoon City's on
morals.
top.
You know what I loved about this movie? Absolutely loved about it. It was like a full-length cutscene of episodes 1 and 2 of the franchise.
Yeah, no, and there was completely no like differences between the game and the movie. You know,
Did you?
like,
Do you
it
know
was
how much shit he was
par
talking about this
with the
movie when we
games.
talked last week?
You know,
Do you know how much shit he was talking about this
why
movie?
are you putting words in my mouth?
Why are you talking shit on this movie?
Dude, I've literally, dude, calm down.
What
like, it's
bad
just a movie, you
could
know?
come out of
What
this movie?
bad?
Yeah, what bad
Did
could
you
come out of this?
not? Did you
With
not
such a
see-
stacked cast, you think this
Where
movie
was
would
Leon?
be bad?
Where was Leon?
He was the receptionist at
That's not Leon.
Chris
I don't know
Redfield
who
was
the hell
played
that
by
is.
Robbie
Rookie.
Amell, who is the Green Arrow from the CW's cousin.
Yeah, Chris was fine. Also, Jill's character, that's not Jill Valentine. The character first of all, the character didn't act anything like Jill Valentine. At least Leon kind of acted like Leon, but Leon's also not Spaniard. He's the whitest of the whiteys with blonde hair and blue eyes. He's
It was
the pretty
Eric.
boy.
Eric, you clearly, even though you live in the area, you clearly don't know Hollywood. It is an interpretation of the character. They were bringing something new to the role. Eric,
We don't need new. Leon has been white, blonde hair, blue eyes for the last fucking 20-something years.
where's your proof of that?
Literally Resident Evil 2, the original.
Maybe you would have been more akin to Neil McDonough playing Leon.
I don't care that Leon was Spaniard. It annoys me, but I don't really care. What annoys me
Motherfucker
is
looked
that
like you, my guy.
yes, he did. He looked nothing like Leon. But what bothered me?
Wait, like who? Like me?
no, like
No,
me.
like you.
Eric,
Yeah,
he had the
okay.
freaking mustache.
I literally thought it was the guy from Critical Role. I forget his name. I think his name is Robbie.
No,
yes, Ray, I did.
He played the motherfucker from Victorious.
Oh yeah. Beck.
Beck.
So let me talk to the OG fans, all of the old video gamers. Episode 1 or part 1. What do we call that? Is it episode 1?
Game 1?
Game 1, part 1, whatever you want to call it. Game 1 had the crew going into the mansion.
The STARS unit, which this wasn't even a STARS unit. This was a fucking
STARS.
regular police
RPD.
department.
It was RPD. But it was the STARS unit went to go investigate some mysterious activity
At the Spencer Mansion.
at the Spencer Mansion.
Yeah.
Now, give the movie some damn credit. Was it not the all-time best cutscene when Chris Redfield walked on that zombie and it turned and looked at him just like it did in the video game?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did some good. I just think So TJ brought up a point. I'm not going to steal all the credit, even though he wants to pretend like he wasn't talking shit.
I wasn't talking shit.
100% just smashed together the first 2 games into a movie.
They really did.
Listen, guys.
It was not my
I
favorite.
didn't even read the
hate it,
synopsis
but-
yet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, with that, TJ, why don't you read us the synopsis?
Once the booming home of a pharmaceutical giant umbrella corporation, Raccoon City is now a dying Midwestern town. The company's exodus left the city a wasteland, with great evil brewing below the surface. When that evil is unleashed, a group of survivors must work together to uncover the truth behind Umbrella and make it through the night.
What did they say in the game? Do you remember when you first entered the mansion after the OG cutscene? You get in there, and I think it just said survival horror. I think that's all they called it, survival horror. And one of the things I will say is, and I'm being rather facetious in a lot of what I'm saying, but to be honest, I think that they tried to make this movie a true representation of the game, where the OG 2002 movie with Alice and Michelle Rodriguez, why am I forgetting her name? Mia Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez. They really didn't try to keep the line on the game.
No, it was a completely separate thing.
They went way off. It wasn't a bad thing. I didn't not like that movie. I really liked what they did.
It was basically like, this is set in the same universe, not the story.
Not
of
the
game.
same story. Now, if they would have done this movie first, I don't think we would have seen a 3, 4, and 5 and
No,
6.
This movie was great. I do think it should have been a mini series on Netflix instead of trying to cram 2 games, 3
that
games
would have
into
been
one
a
fucking...
good idea. That would have been a good idea if they would have spent some time and money developing the characters, developing the plot. They really did try to rush a lot of this.
First game, that's all fucking mansion and whatever. That's a whole separate thing. And then second game, that's when you get Leon. That's when you get fucking Claire or whatever. And then
and
what bothers me about this movie is that you were saying that it holds true to the game in a lot of ways, but I think in a lot of important ways it deviates from the game. I think the part that annoys me, I think the absolute most, is Jill Valentine's character. She acted nothing like Jill Valentine. It was hard to believe that was who she was supposed to be.
Yeah, she wasn't really much of a badass, was she?
Well, it wasn't even that. It was like the whole I don't know, like this macho mercenary vibe that she has. That wasn't Jill Valentine, at least not that I remember.
Mm-mm.
So like that kind of bugged me. It was like someone who's never seen Resident Evil was given that role, and they were like, "Yeah, you're a badass," and she was like, "Okay," and that's what she played. And it's like, yeah, but that's not that's why Jill Valentine was basically a snow bunny. Is that a wrong thing to say? But she was this tall, white, blonde hair girl who was just a badass, and she had just a very different demeanor than this. This was like Michelle Rodriguez in the first Resident Evil, which is a fine character. I have nothing against that kind of character, but that's not Jill Valentine.
Well, how do you think that compares to the Jill Valentine they did introduce us to?
I didn't like this one.
No. In the original franchise.
Oh,
she was kind of a badass, and
yeah, I think the game version is that's Jill Valentine. That's who Jill Valentine has been. For
not just the game version. What about the movie, the original movie?
Oh yeah,
version?
the original movie. Yeah, when they introduced Jill, that felt like Jill. That didn't seem crazy. That seemed right.
When she just walked into the police department and started capping him.
Yeah,
you got to aim for the head.
Like that Jill seems that Jill seems fine, because wasn't Jill also part of Stars?
Yes.
That's why in the third game or whatever, the fucking Nemesis is fucking after her going stars. You know?
Was that the third game? Wasn't that the second game?
I thought it was the third one.
I think it's the third one.
Is it?
I think yeah.
But the second one you're Claire, but I think
and he's always chasing you, right?
I think he's in both 2 and 3,
the third one, yeah.
And in the end, you do finally have to face
the original
Nemesis.
Was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is what the game was called. But then they made a remake. It was
they confused our minds because they released the second movie, which was basically the third game.
Yes.
Also, in Japan, did you know that Resident Evil isn't called Resident Evil? It's called Biohazard.
Yes, I did know that.
Interesting, because there is a Biohazard, which is nothing like Resident Evil. Well, I guess there's some similarities. Now, let me ask you guys if you guys are pretty up to speed on the games. So,
somewhat.
Kind of.
I want to kind of pick your brains a little bit. Do you know the difference between the T virus and the G virus?
They're just different strains. T virus was what was released in Raccoon City.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the G virus is what we saw in the 5th game. where they became more like those tentacles kind of came out of their mouths and like ripped their heads apart, and they were more mentally capable. They started wielding weapons and like being smart about their movements. Like it wasn't just like just eat brain. It was like, now I'm gonna hop on a turret and shoot at you.
Okay.
So that, I believe that was the main difference between the G virus and the T virus, was that the G virus was typically a lot more intelligent.
Now, did they not, like in the movie, they never, the original franchise, this one they did. In the original franchise, they never even brought up the G virus.
They don't bring it up, I don't think, by like they don't mention it, but it's definitely shown because like as
Wouldn't
the
that
films,
have been Nemesis?
No, he was an entirely separate program, I believe. Like I don't even know if he was necessarily the T virus.
They're what are they called?
He was the Nemesis program.
Well, I'll tell you, because like in the literature, the T virus was basically used on people, and they come back as humanoid zombies, and they're recognizable as humans still. The G virus is claimed to have mutated the body where they're barely even recognizable as formerly human.
Well, yeah, that can be the case. Like, so that's why as we see the Resident Evil movies go along, so like the first movie, the craziest thing you see is a liquor.
Yes.
And then but as far as we know, that's still only T virus stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as it progresses, as the movies progress, you start to notice more and more mutations from them. I think it's the fourth movie when they're in the prison where you start to see the tentacles, the four things come out of the mouth and grab onto someone. That's the G virus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Those were the more advanced hunters.
Yeah.
Of the
I think
their
that happens
zombie-like.
in like the fourth or the fifth movie.
Yeah. The
I think it's
Nemesis
the fifth one.
is
Apocalypse.
like that. He's a tyrant or whatever, which
So he
that
is a
is like
T-virus.
straight like off the T virus. Like they used it to make weapons.
Now, I will say they did try. I'm gonna keep repeating this. Sorry, chat, but the way that they did this in this movie was Neil McDonough's character, the doctor. What did they call him? He was. Sorry, I gotta look him up again because I wasn't familiar with his name in this movie. He was William Birkin, Dr. Birkin. And what was interesting about him when he injected himself, I believe was what he did, he kind of turned into what would be, in my eyes, he was the most comparable to the OG video game, The Tyrant. Big, giant arm, like claw-looking thing. And
You know where else we see this? Resident Evil Degeneration. It's one of the animated movies.
oh, really?
We see, pretty sure the exact same thing with the eyeball on the shoulder and all that. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing we see.
Well, this was I applaud these people. Let me say who was the director, Johannes Roberts, also the writer. I applaud them for trying to stay true to the game. But I really got to say, TJ, I think you are right. They should have taken their time with it instead of trying to cram it all together.
Yeah,
every
there's a lot
one
of
of those
cramming.
people, every one of those people deserved their own episodes. I mean, you had so much backstory between Claire and Chris. There should have been episodes on each one of them. Same thing, Jill. You're absolutely right. They didn't give us a whole lot of information on who she was, why she was there, why was she this badass. Leon, they just kind of stuck him as the rookie, which didn't seem to be too accurate.
And they were fucking
dang.
mean to him for
So-
like like in the games they had like a whole party planned and shit.
Yeah.
Like they had a
Yeah.
whole banner said "Welcome, rookie." Like why the fuck was this garbage ass fucking
good call.
the chief
chief?
pissed me
He's
off
such an asshole.
just because like his burns weren't even good. Like they were so bad and cringeworthy that I'm like, God, I hate that you have any sort of authority.
So in the chat, failure.inc said Wesker didn't seem accurate either, which I gotta say is true. They didn't do a good job with Wesker either.
I think the other ones bothered me so much that I was willing to let Wesker go.
Really? The lesser of all the evils?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like the character of Wesker still kind of seems the same-ish. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm not remembering Wesker that well, but I feel like the personality was pretty much fine. Like the character was there. The other ones, like Leon in the very beginning didn't feel like Leon at all. Even like because Leon was always somewhat confident. I like in the beginning games, he's very whiny,
Yeah.
but like he was still competent. And like this Leon was just completely fucking incompetent in every way.
Yeah.
And like that didn't feel like Leon at all. The fact that he like couldn't even shoot his gun.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, for real?
Yeah.
Because Leon's
Like,
a badass
you're
from
a
the start.
rookie, you've gone
Right.
through training, my guy. You should know how to use a gun.
I did like this. Failure.inc mentions in the chat. Leon was treated like such a ... like a cuck or worse.
Like,
And he was it really was a lot of disrespect on the character for the video game lovers. Now, mind you, I only went up to number 5, and number 5 I played with you. And one of the things that I would say I liked about it was the movie rather. What I liked about the movie was I felt like they were trying, and they wanted to try to give you they wanted to give this year the visual of what we all experienced all the way back in the 90s when Resident Evil 1 was first released on the game. That was all epic. I think it was a little too late, as they say, too little too late to make it exactly the same thing as what we did all the way back there in the 90s. It's all been done. Everybody's seen it. There's no shock value anymore. So as much as I look, I'm going to be honest here. I love B movies, and this is at best a B movie. Not in our ratings. Anybody who follows our podcast, we do a tier list, and I'm not saying that this deserves a B rating. I'm not going to say where I think it deserves to be.
I think B would be fair.
But it has some qualities to it that if they would have done this in 2002, I think they could have gotten away with it, because it was such an attempt to recreate the video games. But
This was giving like Disney Channel original movie budget, like budget and acting.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like
with some of the CGI.
Yeah, no, it's oof. Great movie. Love the movie.
It does
Amazing.
give a little bit of like Disney budget.
So, Failure Inc. again comments, this is one of the better ones without Mila Jovovich. And I would say yes. From the other animated ones that I've watched, it wasn't that they didn't knock my socks off either. There was a lot left to be desired.
I think Degenerate is a masterpiece.
Did I not watch that?
I love that one. That's where it starts with Claire Redfield in the airport.
No, I did watch that.
And an airplane crashes into it.
Yeah.
And zombies come out of it. Great movie.
Oh, I did watch that one.
I think they could do a Resident Evil 7 movie if it was found footage.
Yeah, that could
what
be
a
cool.
good idea.
I
cool.
think that could be like, you don't ever like, they could keep the whole thing where you never see Ethan's face, but like just have him have a camera on him the whole time and have him going through this moist ass, damp ass fucking swamp house.
Yeah, it's actually just Markiplier's Let's Play.
I really like that idea. I wish they would.
That's what I want Markiplier to do, a director's like thing for the fucking Blu-ray where he's just up in the corner. Hey guys, it's Markiplier here, director of the movie.
That'd be so fun. He does a
Iron
let's
Lung,
play. He does a
dude.
let's play reaction of his own movie.
What did you guys think about
great.
the dogs in this movie?
Oh, okay. First of all, what fucking dog is like, yep, gotta immediately slurp up this nasty ass blood that's on the ground in the middle of the pouring rain?
Like, dude, it's my time. You
Like,
know what?
Sought
Actually,
it out.
Cozy.
Yeah, Cozy would be the first zombie dog. He so would.
Cozysaurus would have been the first dog.
Would have been the
This
first
dog
one.
legitimately jumped out of the car or the semi, ran up to where this dead girl was laying, finds her blood, and just goes, "Looks good to me," and just starts licking
iron.
it. What the fuck?
Like,
It sought it out. So like that kind of okay. It kind of leads you to believe that there's something enticing about the blood
yeah,
to
what if
animals.
it smells good?
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
What if it's got like a bacon strips sent to it?
I guess so. Well, I thought the dogs were cool. I thought
Eric, what do you
later-
think about this? I think you're pretty well versed with dogs. So some people think that most dogs would do that, would lick some nastiness off the ground.
I don't think they would jump out of the car and seek it out in the middle of the pouring rain just to slurp that up.
Cats would. TJ.
Listen,
Cats are pure evil.
Nah, cats would have gone and found the body.
Yeah, like they're not gonna
That's
settle
the
for some
fact right
blood.
there.
They're gonna go find the whole thing.
Cat. Yeah. You know what? You're right. I'm
You
gonna
know what?
I'm gonna
It'll-
retract that
It'll
statement.
save me on fucking cremation costs if my cat.
It's true.
If you were saying that you were walking your dog not in the rain, it was clear day, you're walking your dog by a nasty blood pile and the dog licks it up and that's how it becomes infected, that's believable. Absolutely. But to say the dog jumped out of the semi, ran up to where the dead body was, smelled the blood, and didn't even smell it actually, just immediately went to licking it in the middle of the pouring rain. What the fuck?
So okay,
It's
then
like a magnet.
then what do you think about? I think you brought that concept up. What were they trying in your mind? Were they trying to make it something appealing?
It would have to be. It would have to be like so. It smells so good that the dog was immediately like, "Yup."
I mean, like you know
Because
how
it
else would
sought it
spread
out
between
in the rain.
animals other than like
Because they could smell it.
Yeah,
The
but
dogs could smell
even,
it.
like through the rain, that's going to be difficult, and it would have to be enticing enough that the dog
Yeah.
knows exactly where it's coming from in the rain, and chase it down. Dogs are incredible. Dogs can smell and seek out some crazy things, but trained dogs can do that.
Yeah.
A regular ass dog who's had no training cannot really get a smell that good. You know what if that was a scent hound, that would be a little more believable.
Okay, a bloodhound. Okay.
Yeah, but even then that's a crazy, I don't know, I think it's a crazy jump in logic that the dog would just seek it out like that.
fucking just a basset hound in the goddamn front seat. Woo! Woo!
See, that would be great.
Do you guys think that this was just a setup that they're going to be bringing more?
More movies?
Yeah.
They're
This was like
not.
2021,
Nobody's
I don't
paying
think
for
they
this
are.
movie. Nobody's paying for this movie.
That's sad. I think-
Guaranteed, nobody's paying for this movie.
I think Will You Survive needs to bankroll the next one. Eric?
I'm telling you, the
All right, guys, I'm gonna build a render farm.
Build a render
I
farm.
feel like we could do it for cheap if it's found footage.
Failure. 2026 zombie apocalypse, please.
Just film it with like a fucking. We could go to Goodwill, get a shitty camera. You know,
We need more
Boom.
survivor movies.
I think there's a ton out there. I think
We
should
just
find
we just
them.
haven't covered a whole lot of them, have we?
Yeah, I mean we've covered like a lot of the main ones. Now it's time to get obscure.
yeah.
So how
I'm gonna have to
about
start watching
the
obscure French zombie movies?
how about the effects in this movie?
I think we
Did it
talked about
snow?
that, right?
It fucking snowed apparently.
Wow. Where
And
you
it's
are?
March. Yes, it's March,
Dude, it's been like 85 down here.
dude. It's the
Last
Umbrella
week it was-
Corporation.
it was
dog. They're
100.
out to get
It
Seattle.
was
bro.
96 like every day last
It,
week.
it was. There was 2 days last week that it was 100 degrees.
It was
Mm.
miserable.
We're just better than you. It's been
It's
raining
so-
a
snowing in
shitload.
March.
So what did you guys say about the graphics?
It was like Disney Channel. Like,
Dude,
original
like
movie
it's
budget.
it's watchable. You know, like the liquor didn't look that bad.
Okay. Let's talk about the liquor because I thought there was some things there.
The one scene
Specifically the scene, the main scene about it. What did you think about that whole interaction? Who was or what was that supposed to be that fought the liquor?
that was she was a little girl who got experimented on.
Would that
I
have
know
also
she-
been
I think that's a
either
thing
T virus
from
or
the-
G virus, or would that be
T-virus,
something different? That would
most
have been
likely.
T virus.
Let me look it up. I'm trying to. I
Dude,
looked this
wasn't
up
that,
like
like-
last week, and I was prepared to give you all the information.
They made her super creepy looking.
Typically, the stuff where it's like they became
Yeah, okay.
intelligently mutated is usually T virus. With G virus, like when I say like, I guess more intelligent, I mean like they're usually like the ones we saw in like Resident Evil 5, where they're like throwing hatchets at you and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But not like intelligent.
Like this was semi-intelligent. She could talk.
So
Yeah, so it's when the T virus will like bond with somebody.
Yes.
The way like it did with Alice.
Right.
So it didn't turn her, but it merged with her DNA.
Right.
So that's what I guess we can
yeah.
assume.
So
kinda
her
happened
name
with this.
is Lisa Trevor, or Lisa Trevor in Japanese. She was exposed to a progenitor strain. She's from the first game, I believe. She lived in the Arklay Mountains until 1998 when she involved herself in the mansion incident. She ultimately died when the facility was destroyed.
So, spoiler alert for Resident Evil Requiem. This is not the first or last time that Umbrella has experimented on kids.
Oh,
So we found out in this movie that
God.
Claire and Chris were going to be experimented on before Claire left.
Yeah.
They were going to experiment on her first.
Yeah. Well, in Requiem, pretty early on in the game, when you're playing as Grace, you come across this little girl. She's like this little albino girl, who's in a cell, like in a
And she's blind.
not soundproof, but you know, like the room from You,
Yeah.
the show. It's like that,
like a glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
and she's blind. And then you find out that the big bad monster that was chasing you, that Leon killed, was actually her twin sister in the next cell over, but the virus bonded with both of them differently.
Wow.
So Umbrella was experimenting on them, and one girl turned into a crazy monster who can't be in the light, and the other is blind and in the cell.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a couple of other things in this that I got to point out that I liked. The semi-truck crash, flaming, all of that. I actually
was good.
really enjoyed that zombie just walking while he's completely engulfed.
Mm-hmm.
And
they just leave him there. He was.
I honestly, I loved
chilling.
that scene. I know it's sad to say they really did do Leon dirty, but I did love that scene. It should have been
Yeah.
somebody else who did that.
Well, do you know what bothered me about that scene?
Is
You're telling me he didn't feel it explode right outside the police
So,
department? Like,
okay,
he's
that's-
still asleep.
He's inept.
that's one.
He
that's
had his
one.
he had his headphones on.
Like, ain't no way. You don't feel it? It shakes the entire building.
That's one. That one. I automatically agree with you.
That would kill me.
But I loved the scene as he was just walking in, and the captain
and they just got the
was the
doors
one who
open.
put him down. And when the captain put him down, he grab a fire extinguisher. Should we call an ambulance? I think he's past needing an ambulance.
Yeah, like Leon wasn't stupid. Like they
No.
made this Leon like completely like how the hell did he pass the academy?
I think what they were going for is that, if they did do sequels, I think he would get more badass as they go.
I think you
But
could
Leon
do that without him
already
being
had like badassery in him in the first one.
that's part of Leon. Like
Like he
I
took
don't
on
know.
a whole fight. He was in a dark ass police station, like by himself, just zombies, just fucking up zombies. And then the fucking what's his name? The motherfucker with the hat, big ass motherfucker. That motherfucker was there too.
The one
talking
that
about?
I kind of wish
no,
they would
with the
have.
hat.
Yeah, he was a tyrant, but not Nemesis,
Huh.
No, I don't.
chasing you around the whole building.
I don't remember that
No,
in the game.
in the game. Hurry to
The
it.
second one.
Which
Yeah.
one?
I don't remember that.
Let me look.
Mr. T?
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Failure. Failure.inc threw that in there.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. No, bro was taking care of that. Like, but in this movie, it was just kind of bro didn't do shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Leon was the one who pulled up the rocket launcher
I mean, yeah.
When?
against,
Against the big motherfucker.
I called him the tyrant, but the dude with the eyeball on his shoulder.
Mm.
A rocket launcher? I found it.
Like, right next to everybody, too.
I know, right?
Like, bro could have killed them all. But, like, I guess you're going to explode anyways. So, like, you know.
Now, how would you compare the two liquors from the original franchise and this one? The liquor seemed, to me, the liquor seemed much smaller in this one.
They didn't seem as scary. Like
But
even
it-
in the first movie, I felt like the
But
liquors
didn't
were
it
scarier.
look more akin to the video game?
Mm-hmm.
Because the video game didn't look that big. They were annoying because they were small and they were hard to hit.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the. I guess it was the movie that made them bigger, huh?
Yeah.
For the original.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty, like, they're kind of human sized. They're just crawling.
Human size, just on all fours.
Yeah.
And the liquor in the original franchise, 2002, was much larger.
Mm-hmm.
He looked enormous.
But I feel like this one was way more like, you know, as much as we're shitting on this movie, there's a lot of stuff that was, like, accurate,
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
you know?
I agree.
I think the liquor was, like, 100%. Like, it looked
And
like
it was super strong.
Yeah.
When Lisa was her name, when she grabbed it, I thought that was freaking awesome because she had to use the shackles that she was tied with, that shackle between her wrists, and she grabbed it, used that shackle to put it in the liquor's mouth and like jack his jaw.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only way that she stopped it. I would say the only thing I didn't like was that our liquor scene was so short.
Yeah. I feel like there definitely
Yeah.
could have been more.
I think same thing with the doctor when he turned.
Yeah, it was kind of just the scene of him turning and then him
Good.
going after Chris a little bit and then just him in the train and then that was it.
So I think this is a great point. Once again, failure coming in hot with an awesome take here. When the woman rushed in and grappled onto Claire and kept saying itchy, tasty, it was like that was very video game.
Mm-hmm.
It was creepy. That would have been a perfect scene. You know that would have been a perfect cut scene. You know, you're in a room, a quiet room. You don't think that you're going to be attacked right now, and then all of a sudden, this thing just comes at you. I don't know. Maybe they even wait. Didn't you guys just tell me in the most recent game you could be in the safe room and they will still come and get you?
Yeah, some scenes, yeah. They
O-
violate
only
your safe
some.
space.
I mean, like,
Yeah, but then you
they're-
don't know
yeah.
what's safe and what's not.
So you don't know. You're always
Well, because
on
they
edge.
violate it right in the beginning. Like one of the first times you get to save, they violate the rule of the safe zone, and so it makes you not trust the safe
Yeah,
room.
you're in the game, you're playing, you're like, oh yes, a typewriter. That means this is a safe room. No, yeah, Eric
Well-
hasn't been playing it that much. I'm sad about that.
I watched Rosie play at the beginning.
Did you?
Yeah, she about 30 seconds into playing Grace, she goes, "I didn't know this was a horror game," and I was like, "Oh no, Rosie!" I was like, "Oh no!" I was like,
Are you
That's
I was like,
so
serious?
Rosie-
brand for Rosie.
I was like,
dude.
"I'm not kidding you when I tell you, every time you're playing Grace, it is a horror game." And she goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm being very serious. Like this game
Yeah,
actually
it
spooked
is-
me a little bit."
I mean, you can
That's
change it
cool.
to third person, but it is a first person horror
She was
game.
playing Leon in first person for like half a second, and I was like,
Ew.
"Rosie, no." I was like, "Rosie, you gotta
No.
swap."
That's just wrong.
I was like, "You don't get it." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Trust me." She did one roundhouse kick, and she was like, "Oh, I get it."
Is
Yeah,
it
dude,
is
you
it
don't
like
get to-
tanky?
No, so basically, you swap between playing Grace Ashcroft and Leon Kennedy. When you're playing Grace, they suggest you play it in first person because her story is more horror. So
Yeah, they're more monsters.
Yeah, so she's defenseless. Like she has a gun, but like she's really scared of everything. Her character's always shaky and like really nervous. Everything's always dark. It's more like old Resident Evils where it's not necessarily about killing the zombie more than it is about stunning them so you can run by.
Right.
And it's a lot closer to like the Resident Evil Biohazard also.
Yeah, where
'Cause
you like
everybody that was a completely different like jump for like the genre, and like for Resident Evil was like the first person and the more horror vibe, you know? Like it went
Yeah.
like Resident Evil got to a point where it was just like fucking action and like one-liners and hey Leon,
Yeah.
do a backflip for no reason.
What
Four,
was the
5,
one?
and 6. 4 is when it became more about combat. 5 was like it's all combat. 6 was like this is just straight up an arcade game.
6 was the village.
No, 6 was 6 was a mess. 6 was there was 4 different campaigns you could play. It was
Oh,
Leon and
wow.
Helena, Cheryl Birkins or whatever her name, the daughter of the bad guy on this movie. And some other guy, Jake something, who plays with her, Chris, and then some other stars dude, and then Ada Wong.
The Rona outbreak. Ha! I get what you're saying. Okay.
So, that was 6. 7 was when Ethan Winters went to, I don't remember, what was it, Louisiana or something?
Some fucking swamp.
Some swamp area, and went to this house that was infested with the mold.
Yeah, he was
Which is
looking
not
for
the
his
T
wife.
virus or the G virus. That the mold is where we enter the Mother Miranda timeline.
Universe.
Yeah, it's the same universe, but like they are connected. But this is is the
it was
Mother
so
Miranda
different.
timeline. Then 8 is when you get down to the bottom of the mold and Mother Miranda. Chris Redfield's also in both of these.
Yep.
And now 9 is when we go back away from the mold into the T virus.
And if anybody's interested, you go and take a look, even on IMDb, YouTube. They have the director talking about these, and they actually put up a particular video that I watched that had side-by-side comparisons of the game and this movie. So that's where I had seen that this was I say it was an attempt to bring the authentic game into the big screen. And it was, in my opinion, they made a valiant effort. That's the best I can give them
were
on that.
accurate. Like the police station.
Visuals were accurate. It looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Even the truck scene looked the same as in the game. The liquors were pretty close. I think like I said, the size difference was about the best I
were
could
good.
do. All of the same different little things that they did. The zombie turning and looking over his shoulder as it's munching on Redfield's, I don't know if he was friend or just partner, but all of these different throwbacks I thought were well placed. They were well meaning. I think they missed on something, and maybe TJ's is the leading answer, which is they should have taken their time and made this more of a series rather than a movie.
Yeah. That'd have been way better. Just like have it, each episode is like a person. Like, like in the games, you jump back and forth between people all the time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they could do maybe like an episode is like half and half, and then eventually they all meet up. I think first season, first game, second season, second game, or half and half,
There was, needless to say, there was a lot left to be desired, right? I enjoyed it. I really did. I don't really have a whole lot to say other than what you guys have already noticed. You guys pointed out all of the stuff. They did some things that were, what do I say? Just straight out cheesy. I thought it was well-meaning, well-intentioned. I loved the attempt. I enjoyed the movie. I would probably even watch it again. I don't know what else I can say about their
I'd
their
watch it,
attempt here. One of the chatters was asking what was the final Mila Jovovich installment of Resident Evil. Was it not just called The Final Chapter? You guys know?
I don't know. See, those movies I haven't really like.
You mean the final
delved into
movie?
those ones.
Yeah, the
I
last
think
one
s- I
starring
think it
Mila
is-
Jovovich.
Yeah, I think it is the final chapter. I think you're right.
And I'm trying to find where. I think it was released in 2017.
Yeah, it was longer than I thought when I first looked it up.
Didn't this come out in 2018 or something?
This one was 2021.
Oh, that makes it worse.
That's what I'm saying.
It does. Like 2016, sorry. It does.
And to be fair, you know what? 2021, that means they were filming in like 2020.
It's true. There's
so
that
like,
too.
And that fucked up so many movies.
It really did. But it was, I don't know. Maybe they knew. Maybe that was the reason. Maybe they knew they weren't going to get another shot at this. It wasn't like they were going to get a big hit and going to get funding for a whole franchise just like they did back in the day. So they just like did it, threw it all together, made the movie. Because you're probably dead on accurate. It must have been right in the middle of 2020 that all of this was going on, which had to have made it so much more difficult to try to make this movie. The director was the writer, and maybe that was a good thing. Maybe that wasn't a good thing. I don't know. I wish I could say more about who he was and what he's worked on before. Maybe this was just I don't know. Maybe this was just tougher because they've done so much work in all of the video games that maybe it just wasn't the right time, the right feel. But with that, I want to switch a little bit and go on to our survival basis of this episode. I think that when you have this whole entire apparatus that's out to make sure everybody is gone, nobody survives. They even alluded to, maybe you guys can bring some of the lore in, when they were told that, oh, maybe somebody gave you a shot, maybe you got this. Who was that crazy podcaster? He was the one who was trying to say that RPD, all of the officers, were only alive because Umbrella allowed them to be. All of the rest of the city was out to fend for themselves, but the officers, maybe you guys got a shot recently. Now, they didn't confirm or deny that fact. Yeah. So it's like, how do you go about survival of something like this when you're a civilian, right? You have to be. It was just like when we did the original Resident Evil. If you're not Alice or one of the STARS members, maybe you don't, maybe you don't survive. Which, just because I get so bitter at the second movie when the STARS characters, who are all supposed to be top notch, and that sniper on the top of the roof sees Nemesis coming and he shoots him everywhere except for the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just feel like the head is the first place I would shoot.
When that's what he's been doing.
Vital areas. So
like anything that I want to stop moving right away, any monster or something, I'm aiming for the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. This is not the only, so many movies do this, where again, it kind of falls into that premise of then I guess zombies don't exist in your universe, because I feel like that's very common for everybody. Shoot him in the head.
Yeah. Which is, I think we've said this so many times on this podcast, is you have to presuppose that in every one of these, the issue is that nobody has ever heard of a zombie before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think, TJ, you surviving this as you, not as a Raccoon City police officer or as Alice or Wesker, the traitor?
No, because every black person in the Resident Evil games dies. I'm cooked. You can name one black person that survived. You fucking can't.
He brings up a damn good point.
One. Can't. You really can't.
The chat is saying the same thing. They wouldn't either. What do you think, Eric? You surviving?
Man, if I'm no, I'm not.
Also, as soon as there's a fucking 8-foot tall Shaq motherfucker with a weird face walking around, I'm killing myself.
According to the bylaws, I have to be the one then that says I would survive.
See, I just think that by the time I get to the mansion, I don't think I survived the mansion. I think I survived everything up to that.
And even if you fucking survive all of it, you still get firebombed.
Yeah.
And you don't know it because you're just a normal person.
And by the way, I believe in this one they were more nuclear friendly. They didn't call it a nuclear bomb. I think it was a thermobaric bomb.
Yeah.
That's one. But so I have to take the position that I would survive this.
I'm sure you would.
The only way that I would be able to do that is I would have to be the conspiracy theorist nut, right? Who believes that
you have to eat Eric.
I don't think it's come to that yet.
I would have to believe that everything is out to get me, and that I am afraid of the water because they did make mention that the conspiracy theorist said it was in the water. So that was why it was like, I would have to be filtering my water, which I have the capability of doing. I keep activated charcoal on hand. I have, I would make some clean gravel, clean sand, make my own filters and start filtering the water. How would I know about this? I would know about this because I do spend time with you fine people on the chat, and we like to make these conspiracy theories. And, I think we brought this up before. Life straws. In the last episode, we brought up that life straws filter out 99.999% of biological agents, including parasites, viruses, bacteria. So it would be, that would be a benefit. So you boil your water, you filter your water, or reverse that. You filter your water, then you boil it, and those viruses aren't going to get through. Not even the T virus.
Don't drink the boiled water. Don't drink the boiling water while it's still boiling, though.
Don't drink boiling water. No,
there's
let's
at least
not do
somebody who's there's probably at least one
and
trying to chug boiling water.
We have also talked about on this podcast the other things that you can do when you're strapped for water. Remember that you're going to want to have 1 gallon of water per person per day. You can use your water heater water. You use it the same way that you would contaminated water. You filter it, then boil it. You fill up your bathtub. You filter it, you boil it. With all of that in mind, you take every pot and pan available, pitcher, you fill it all up with water, toilet. And you treat it all the same. Boil it, filter it, boil it.
Back of your toilet, you could drink that.
The tank. The tank of your toilet, you could drink that, but I mean, we're talking about the same thing.
Like, it's a little gross.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to drink that if it was boiled either.
The other one that we've talked about on the podcast that I want to get a microscope and do a live experiment where you take pool water, because there's several people who say they would use their pool water. I would use the pool water for things like bathing, washing dishes, cleaning utensils, things like that. I wouldn't use pool water for drinking, and you would have to go through some major steps to do that, because guaranteed there's booty juice in pool water.
Yeah, and that's what makes your eyes red in the pool isn't the chlorine. It's everything else.
It's everything else.
Assuming that you're not fancy and you don't have like a saltwater pool.
And then remember, you got to keep things like your food. You keep your fresh food on stock. Don't let your kitchen and your pantry run dry. Your produce and fresh items will last you a few days, right? Refrigerator goes out. You have ways that you can keep your items in your refrigerator cold. You could salt it. You could dehydrate it. You have. I gotta chime in on this. Steph says pool water is only safe because of the chlorine. It would get hella dirty otherwise. It's not actually safe because of the chlorine. The chlorine interacts with a lot of the organisms. That's a lot of when you smell chlorine in the pool, it's not because
that's pee.
Yeah. Well, it's all of the different bacteria.
It's interacting. It's
you're
working.
Smelling the oxidation, and that's why you smell the chlorine. It's not safe. Pool water is not safe. I'm going to do this experiment. I got to show you guys that live.
I imagine you could solar still or fucking distill it with,
Solar still would work. Solar still would absolutely work.
But yeah, no. I feel like it would still have a little hint of pool.
But hey, you dehydrate in 3 days. Bacteria might take a little bit longer, right? Look at this. The Umbrella Corporation has jumped in our chat. What's going on, Umbrella? We're ratting you out right now. We're throwing down all the secrets.
I've never seen a better company. I knew a guy. He worked there. He's a great guy. Yeah. I like umbrellas.
And thank you, Movie Phoenix. He says you guys seem cool.
I think Umbrella should get a $300 million government contract.
Yeah, that sounds legit right there. Umbrella Corporation would only do good with a $300 million government contract.
Exactly. I can't imagine any bad ever coming from that.
And anything else, guys? You want to add anything?
I think if you are like sheltering in place, you should also keep like tape, glue, different types of hosing, like fucking shit like that. It'll come in handy, especially if you're gonna have to drink pool water. You make yourself a little distiller.
Remember, we've gone over
Get a
these
pot.
survival tactics on the podcast. Make yourself a solar still. You can
Also, have an Eric. Instant
have
food.
an Eric.
What?
It's a small meal.
Small meal, but you can make Eric jerky. Jerk
But
Rick,
remember,
if you will.
we will not
Ew.
we will not be sacrificing Eric for that, because then TJ and I won't get along and we'll be fighting each other.
He's saying weird stuff. Should have heard him.
Jerk Rick.
Well, thank you all in the chat for joining us in this episode. We appreciate all of the comments. And just to let you guys know, they got us up to 14,000 likes this episode.
Wow.
Nice.
Holy crap.
So we absolutely appreciate that.
Make sure to add my 4 likes onto that, you know.
Movie Phoenix, we talk about a lot of subjects. We definitely like zombies more, but we go on a lot of subjects. We've
the
talked
whole
about
last season. I don't even how many fucking zombie things did we do?
That's kind of how I'm feeling. I don't remember.
last season.
I don't even
What
think
was
we
it?
did a
Code
lot.
Black.
Code Black was somewhat zombies, yeah. I don't know. I don't even think I don't know if they died and came back.
Okay, quick little Q&A. Movie Phoenix wants to know your favorite zombie movie. My favorite zombie movie is the Dawn of the Dead remake, 2004.
I would say it's either between Train to Busan or Outside.
And Umbrella wants to know if we've done the fungal infections of Last of Us. We've talked about that.
We did. We did go check out our last episodes. It's 2-parter. We made our own zombie, the official Will You Survive zombie. We talked about whether or not fungal would be an option. It was for the first zombie they did, but I wasn't there for that. We
We
came up with
redid
a
it.
whole
We
new one. Remixed. It was a Parasite for our official zombie.
That's our official zombie. Now, Eric, what's your favorite zombie movie?
They putting me on the spot, man. I think it's still World War Z, just because that's the most terrifying zombie.
Now, but all of us agree. I think all of us would agree. Train to Busan deserves an honorable mention, right? For all of us.
Yeah, but I think
that's-
it's great. I
either
just
Train
don't
to
think
Busan
like
or Outside for me, which is like my favorite.
that's just not the scariest zombie.
Just not the scariest zombie. Okay.
I mean, it's just a standard like Korean zombie.
Uh-oh. Steph, I feel like this is going to get dark. Steph says, I would survive World War Z.
I think
that-
best of luck.
That's
I would survive World War Z. I have stage
Whoa.
8 cancer. No, stop.
I know, right? Steph, don't trauma dump
Don't.
on us right now.
I already traumatized
Don't do
earlier.
it.
Only enough lives time for one trauma dumping.
Yeah, like stop trying to add to it.
Wait, okay. Steph has diabetes. Do you think that would qualify?
And I have crippling
I don't
depression.
know.
No, I'm kidding.
I feel like
That was a meme quote.
you wouldn't die to zombies. You'd definitely die to no fucking insulin.
Shit.
That would suck, but that's
we
so
live in a
true.
society,
You
we
would
don't
die
know
of
the-
something dumb.
We don't know how to make that shit. It's one fucking company that makes that shit. So
And that's true. There are some natural ways of getting insulin. We gotta bring that up. Thank you for that, Steph. That's gonna be another topic for another day. Any other final thoughts at all, guys?
it's a zombie movie, but instead of eating you and turning you into a zombie, they give you diabetes. We call it zombies.
Zombies. Wow. So I don't know if I could beat zombies.
Oh God. You guys have almost. I don't want to say defunct. Have you guys abandoned WYS Gaming
Listen, that's all.
In the meantime, yeah.
for the time being?
Yeah.
Because that
I
could be
don't know.
something that we could do. We could I wouldn't be able to play any of these games. I don't have the means to, but playing some of those Resident Evil games and covering them, or any of these other, like the Last of Us games and covering them, that would be kind of cool.
I don't have to
they could
log
be
in,
cool.
so Eric, if you send me the login, I can.
Zombies are NPCs. That's failure.inc's final thoughts.
It's WIS_gaming, and then it's the password we always use.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, TJ, do you want to hit them with our socials?
You can check us out on everything at Will You Survive the Podcast. You can go check out our merch on the TikTok shop. It's amazing, high quality, made from the finest of cotton. You can check us out on Twitter at
Cotton
The
question
Boys.
mark?
WIS. You can send us an email if you want at theboys@willyoursurvivethepodcast.com. And you can go to your local Costco, pick up a 24-pack of Jerk Rick. Comes in 24-ounce packs and 48-ounce packs.
I don't think you can do that, actually.
Yeah, it's your local Costco.
We wish.
Wait, what's that knock at the door? Is that Costco?
Costco's here.
Fucking, that's an ad. We give a Costco ad. So fucking,
That'd be crazy if we got sponsored by Costco.
That would be crazy.
Oh my God,
Shit,
they're
we'd be
here.
rolling in the dough.
Who's
Anybody
here?
knows
The deals.
anybody at Costco to give us
Costco's great
a
Kirkland
membership deal. We do a
Kirkland signature Jerk Rick.
I buy the Kirkland kibble.
With that, one of our chatters wants to know what everybody's sign is. TJ's Gemini,
Yep.
and both Eric and I are Virgo.
I always like to give people who ask that, I like to give them the wrong one.
Like, oh my God,
You're
you're
Leo.
such a. You're
love
so
saying it because
that.
it-
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. You're such a Scorpio. And I'm like, I'm not a Scorpio.
You're a dick. I love it.
I hate that shit. It bothers me so much.
I love that.
See,
It's
but you may be
space
a Virgo,
racism.
but you might be
They-
a Scorpio
Space
rising.
They
racism.
blame their problems on the stars. And I'm like, no. I saw a video recently. A girl backed her brother's G-Wagon into a pool and left a nice dent on it. And he walks out and he was so nice about it. And he's like, oh, like, man, you really did that? You backed into a pool? Like, and she goes, I can't help it. I'm a Pisces. I can't drive in the snow. He goes, you're a piece of shit is what you are. And he got angry. And you know what? I feel that. That I relate to.
Listen. I can't drive.
That was
Mercury's
Eric.
in retrograde.
If somebody talks about Mercury being in rigatoni one more time, I'm gonna fucking lose
Rigatoni.
it.
What? I don't give a fuck if Jupiter is in rigor mortis.
Yeah, your fucking star rising and your moon falling and your fucking rigatonis and shit. It's dumb.
Yeah, Gemini gang.
I am going to start using space racism on everybody who said it, because there's a lot of people who don't like Virgos.
I said that to who doesn't like Virgos? We're like the most likable zodiac.
Yeah, that's why they're all
I'm a
envious.
Virgo.
But
Look at the attitude from TJ. Yeah, I'm a Virgo. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I've had this argument.
Geminis hate Virgos usually.
I've had this argument
Listen.
with a coworker about space racism, and I was like, "It's just space racism," and she's like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "You're telling me you don't look at someone who's a specific sign and go, oh, I'm not going to like them because
Oh,
they're
if
that
I
sign."
say I'm an Aries,
Yeah.
And she was like, "Huh." And I'm like, "You're judging somebody based off of when they were born. It's something they have zero control of, and you're assuming their personality based off of when they were born.
Space racism.
It's space racism."
That's my new thing. I'm going to start using it. By the way, guys, you could get a Will You Survive shirt. Check it out. With that, let me go ahead and announce our winner here. I don't think this is going to be a big surprise. The winner is T Jizzle.
oh my
Mine isn't.
God, I can't believe it. You know what? Ever since I found out that, Pluto is in rigatoni. I knew today was going to go correct,
I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, why I'm picking TJ. I don't think Eric can handle another thing on his plate.
No. And that's why I'll give up my win to you, Eric.
No.
I think you deserved
That's
it.
okay, buddy.
You had so much more input.
No, I just want to. I don't think that's true.
No, you were so locked in this episode. I'm giving it to you.
I was quite literally falling asleep the last 20 minutes of this. So
you know what?
I don't think
I'm
that's
sitting
true.
here
You're
watching
working
it
so
too.
hard
don't
for the
think
rest of
that's
the
true.
episode. You just needed a nap.
I
that's
just
okay.
need to honestly take like a mid-episode nap a little bit.
Oh my God, this is good.
You worked so hard, and I think you deserve this win.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of double shifts your body can do before your brain just stops working.
Of course, it is what it is. Movie Phoenix,
guess what
we
this
appreciate
is,
you.
Eric? This is a double shift podcast. We're doing another movie right now.
This is just our silliness.
All right, well, this is going to be a 2-man episode. Have fun, y'all.
Thank you to the Academy. We really pulled through on this one. Sinners won a Grammy or whatever the fuck, Oscar, Emmy.
A Grammy.
Win. Pluto was in retrograde,
Yeah,
we're really
Sinners won
our
a
people.
Grammy. I'm going to say that at work. I'm going to get roasted alive for it, but I'm going to say it at work because it's so funny.
I think I want to say that.
I don't pay
too.
attention to none of these award shows, dude. I just keep seeing edits of fucking...
That's so funny.
Like, is an
I wouldn't
Academy
be
Award the
surprised.
same thing as an Oscar?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
Why?
Academy Award.
Why are there two different names for it?
I don't know.
I
To be
I-
Who the fuck
Believe-
is Oscar?
Wait. Okay, so this is just expanding my ignorance or revealing my ignorance here, which is I believe all of them are Academy Awards.
No, not all of them. Well, like the big ones, like
The Oscars.
what
the
are they called? The
Emmys.
ERGOT or whatever it is.
I don't see those. I don't know that
the
one.
Emmy, Grammy, Tony, Oscar. There's like a name for it where you could get like all of them, and only a few people have ever done that.
Anyways, shout out Michael B. Jordan and his brother Michael A. Jordan for
Yeah.
Sinners. Yeah.
Yeah, good movie.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us in this episode. We appreciate all of the comments, all of the likes, and all of your support. Make sure you go check us out anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, anywhere. Go check out some of our old stuff. We've talked about the fungal infections. We've talked about the original WIS Zombie that we've now changed to the new remix WIS Zombie. We've gone over different survival movies. And if you have any recommendations, any movies you'd like us to cover, any topics you'd like us to cover, and we'll talk about survival, please send us that email, theboys at Will You Survive the Podcast. What's that?
Please send us. We're running out of movies, guys. Please.
Running out of movies.
I
Give
was
us
gonna
some
say,
other movies.
if you want to see if we've covered a movie, check. We probably have, and if we haven't, you should let us know.
Definitely. We'd appreciate that. All right. With that, everybody, make sure you stay out of Raccoon City, stay away from liquors, and anybody who's shackled and named Lisa.
Buddy, I have no free time. I'm not traveling anywhere.
You might be safe then.
I survived this because I'm always at work.
There you go. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay alive.
Unless you're stars.